Back to an interview we tried a little earlier. We had a bit of a network connection issue. Let's try this. The Life Esidimeni Inquest has heard how moving patients from the facility was rushed. A health official has come out and said that the proper processes were simply not followed because they were dealing with unusual circumstances. Is that good enough, though? The inquest looking into criminal liability for the deaths of over 144 mentally ill patients. To remind you, they were moved to ill-equipped NGOs back in 2016. That's how long ago this story came out. Some of those places had no staff, no water, no medication, no blankets. So let's get reaction from Life Esidimeni family committee member Christine Nxumalo joining us. Christine joining us via the telephone, I understand. For now, Christine, hello to you. What did you make of yesterday's testimony? A senior official saying they were caught by surprise. That doesn't seem good enough, does it?
Good morning. No, definitely not good enough. Unfortunately, well, as families, we actually felt that it was another blame shifting. She was not really taking responsibility for what happened.
I want to ask about the families. I think before we start to unpack a bit of what was said yesterday, I just mentioned 2016. This has been going on for an awfully long time, Christine, and families don't have answers. How are they doing, the families that you are dealing with, that you're hearing from?
Well, look, the families are angry. The families are sad. But at the same time, the families are hopeful. And I must say, listening to Johanna yesterday really sparked, I think emotions, because we knew she was on the ground and we knew that she was directly involved with selecting the NGOs. And I don't think she was truthful in how she selected the NGOs, and I think that's part of what frustrates families.
When we look at the timelines involved here as well, I imagine that not just yourself, Christine, but also the families and the loved ones left behind are asking questions. Why is this taking so long to get these answers? It's an obvious question, but it's a very real question that needs to be asked, isn't it?
Yes, it definitely needs to be asked. But I believe there was some political interference. I believe there was a delay from what we've done, what we've heard, and chasing up the matter. But we were not going to be deterred. We kept pushing the NPA and saying they need to do something. So when we got to the inquest process, we're very happy. So we're just hoping that it follows through, and that ultimately people will be recommended to be charged.
Let me leave this as a last question to you, Christine. What is your hopeful timeline on this? Obviously, this isn't a process that can be rushed. We need to get to the bottom of what actually happened. But closure is important, isn't it? What's the hopeful timeline in your view?
Well, look, this process, as you heard, that Hannah was the sixth person that they're interviewing. There's still, another 30 or something that needs to go. So it's going to be a long process. But we're hoping when this process ends, I think the issue is how quickly will the NPA then move, because that's always the issue with us, is that the NPA tends to be very slow in charging and taking the matters to court.
Well, I think we're going to follow that up with the NPA for you, but I appreciate your time and your hard commitment to Life Esidimeni family committee member, Christine Nxumalo, not just dealing, of course, with the facts of the story, but also dealing with the emotions of the family. We're heading